Good morning. Happy President's Day. Many of you are not in school or work. And I have a safety tip. If you're doing the wood tree and you're putting your paper names on the tree, make sure your candle isn't directly under them. So I'm going to move that. There are no branches above it. Yay, because it would be very sad if my tree caught on fire. If you're following along by numbers, today is the Prince of Peace. I want to read the whole verse, Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6. This is the last of the Isaiah names in this verse. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Many rulers rule through fear. They bring peace through violence. And based on what Jesus says in the rest of the Gospels and the stories he teaches, I don't think that's the kind of prince he is. Peace is a much harder thing to come about. It's not peace by force. It's not peace by ignoring. If I disengage and check out, then I don't have to worry about what's going on in the world, and I might be at peace. But I think here he's talking about that passive interaction with evil. If Jesus is the Son who is born to us, and the government is going to be on his shoulders, he will be a ruler. He will rule. And it says he will be wise. He will be forever. And he will be a Prince of Peace. That peace cost Jesus his life. If you look at the scriptures, the moment he got his crown was just before his crucifixion. Peace is not easy, true peace. And Jesus brought peace to us through the cross so that we can be in a right relationship with God. If you are not doing the tree or the chain and you want a different craft to do, I'm going to push this slightly out of the way. You can make paper stars out of the strips.
Yay! I love paper stars.
And then if you put them in a nice little jar, I think they'd look really pretty by the end, all the different colors of the names. Here is how you do the folded paper stars. I found that when I do the whole length of these, it gets really chunky and it was hard for me to do. If I folded it in half, that also became hard to do because it was just the thickness made it difficult. So I have cut some of them in half the long way, so they're nice and skinny. Tie it in a knot, an overhand knot. You want to tie it loosely because if you pull it, then it's gonna rip. And that won't be as effective. And you want to kind of fidget with it until the knot is closer to one end, okay? We're going to tuck this end in over here. We're gonna fold it over, and there's the loop right there. We're gonna just tuck it in there so it's out of the way. Okay.
Did you say loop?
Then with this other really long tail, we're going to wrap it and fold it around. So as I bring this up, the natural corner is right there. And there's another loop right here. So I'm going to thread the end of this through, if it lets me, the bottom right there. Maybe. Please? It's a little bendy. The stiffer or the more straight the paper is, the easier that will be. All right, so now I'm going to bend it again, and it's going to go over the other edge. And when I turn it over, I'm going to thread it through. Putting it underneath the previous layers kind of locks it in place. And you keep bending and threading, keeping that 5-sided shape. Mine is looking more like a little house at this point, until you can wrap the very end of it underneath and in. If you still have a very little tail after that and it's not enough to pull all the way through, you can just rip or cut it off. All right, so now we have this weird 5-sided shapes thing. To make the star, you're going to press the corners of this shape, and that kind of puffs the whole star out as it squishes the corners in. Kinda, sorta. You kind of fidget with it a little bit, and eventually you get something that resembles a little star. So if Jesus is the Prince of Peace and we are God's children, adopted into his family through Jesus's actions, that means we are princes and princesses of peace, as well. How are you going to be an agent of peace? That's a big question. Have fun today, and I will see you later.